In 1962, some American grandmothers could make a pie so good, children remembered the smell for the rest of their lives. Not the recipe. Not the name. The smell. Before frozen desserts and supermarket bakeries replaced the kind of pies that once pulled entire families into the kitchen before supper was even finished, there were 10 pies that lived only in those warm, flour-dusted kitchens. You could hear the screen door slam. Smell the butter browning. Feel the steam rising off a windowsill while something extraordinary cooled inside. No box crusts. No plastic containers. Just butter, flour, patience, and women who somehow made hard times taste sweet. One of these pies used nothing but crackers where the fruit should have been. Another tasted richer than chocolate cake using nothing more than brown sugar and cream. Today, we're bringing 10 of them home. Number 1. Grasshopper Pie. In the early 1960s, when refrigerators finally became standard in most American homes, grandmothers discovered something extraordinary. You could make a pie without ever turning on the oven. Grasshopper Pie was that pie. Cool, minty, and smooth as a summer evening on the front porch. It showed up at bridge clubs and church socials in this gorgeous, pale green, the color of something almost too pretty to cut into. The crust was crushed Oreo cookies pressed into a pan with melted butter. The filling was crème de menthe folded into marshmallows and real whipped cream, beaten until it turned into something between mousse and a dream. Into the freezer it went. No fuss. No sweat. No oven heat on a hot July afternoon. Every slice was cold, light, and tasted like a peppermint patty had somehow floated up into a cloud. Grandmothers loved it because it could be made days ahead. Guests loved it because nothing like it existed anywhere else. And children, well, children just remembered it. Nobody makes it anymore. The recipe sits in the back of some old church cookbook, handwritten in pencil, with a coffee ring stain on the corner. And that feels like a dadgum shame. Number 2. Transparent Pie. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever eaten a pie so delicate, so impossibly light, that you could almost see through it when it caught the afternoon sun? If you grew up in Kentucky, there's a good chance you have. Transparent pie was one of the most quietly extraordinary things to ever come out of an Appalachian kitchen. Grandmothers guarded this recipe like gold, passing it down through whispered instructions and watchful eyes in kitchens that smelled of warm vanilla and brown butter. Just 6 ingredients: butter, sugar, eggs, cream, vanilla, a whisper of flour. Nothing fancy. Nothing exotic. But the proportions, honey, the proportions, that's where the magic lived. Grandmothers would cream the butter and sugar until pale as morning light, beat in the eggs one at a time, pour in the heavy cream, and what came out of that oven was golden and crackly on top, but underneath it was soft, rich, and custardy in a way that made grown men go quiet at the supper table. It wobbled when you carried it. It shimmered when you sliced it. And it tasted like pure, sweet southern sunshine. Do you remember this pie? Did your grandmother ever make it, or something close to it? Because if she did, you were one of the lucky ones. Number 3. Sour Cream Raisin Pie. Now I want you to think back for a moment. Was there ever a pie sitting on your grandmother's counter that looked simple, maybe even plain, but the second you took one bite, it stopped you cold? That was sour cream raisin pie. And if you grew up anywhere near the Midwest, there's a good chance this pie was at every single church basement supper, every farm kitchen table, and every county fair spread you can remember. Grandmothers would start by simmering raisins slow and gentle until they plumped up soft and sweet, releasing their natural sugar into a fragrant, dark little syrup that smelled like something between caramel and warm spice. Then came the custard. Sour cream, eggs, brown sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg, whisked together into something tangy and rich and completely unexpected. Cooked on the stovetop until it thickened into silk, then poured into a pre-baked shell and crowned with meringue toasted golden at the tips. The combination shouldn't work. Sour cream, raisins, meringue. But Lord have mercy, it did. Creamy custard, chewy fruit, fluffy meringue, flaky crust, all in one bite. Iowa State Fair bakers still whisper about this pie like it's sacred. And maybe it is. Does your family still make this one? Or did it disappear from your table too? Number 4. Old-fashioned coconut cream pie. Let me ask you something that might just take you straight back. Do you remember the sound of a hand whisk working against a heavy saucepan? That slow, rhythmic scraping, while something warm and sweet and coconutty filled up the whole kitchen? If you do, somebody in your family made this pie. Old-fashioned coconut cream pie wasn't the boxed pudding version. Wasn't the artificial stuff that came later in those plastic store containers. This was the real thing, and honey, there is no comparison. Grandmothers would cook whole milk, sugar, cornstarch, and egg yolks together low and slow, stirring constantly, never rushing, until the custard turned silky and thick and coated the back of a wooden spoon just right. Then came the butter. Then the coconut. Then a long, patient wait while it cooled. But here's what made this pie unforgettable. They toast a handful of coconuts separately, just until it turned golden and nutty and fragrant, then scatter it over fresh whipped cream on top. 2 completely different coconut experiences in every single bite. Soft and sweet from inside. Crunchy and caramelized on top. No trip to Hawaii required. This pie tasted like sunshine and ocean breezes captured inside a flaky crust on a Sunday afternoon. Did your grandmother make hers with meringue or whipped cream on top? Because that debate, honey, that debate got heated at a lot of southern tables. Number 5. Chocolate meringue pie. Can I tell you something that might just break your heart a little? There is an entire generation of Americans who have never tasted a real chocolate meringue pie. Not the instant pudding version. Not the diner slice wrapped in plastic wrap. The real one, the kind that came out of a southern grandmother's oven on a Saturday morning and didn't last until Sunday supper. This pie was a production. And grandmothers treated it like one. It started on the stovetop. Cocoa powder, sugar, cornstarch, whole milk, and egg yolks, stirred together low and slow until the mixture darkened and thickened into a glossy, rich chocolate custard that bubbled like something alive. Then butter. Then vanilla. Poured still warm into a flaky crust that shattered clean at the first fork. But the meringue, honey, the meringue was where grandmothers showed out. Egg whites whipped with cream of tartar until stiff peaks stood proud and tall. Then sugar beaten in slow until the whole thing turned glossy and cloud white and impossibly beautiful. Swirled high over that dark chocolate filling in dramatic peaks and swoops, then slid into the oven until the tips turned the color of a perfect sunset. Warm chocolate underneath. Cool, pillowy meringue on top. Every single bite was a contradiction that somehow made complete sense. Bakeries eventually replaced this masterpiece with instant pudding and store-bought whipped topping. And that right there, that is a daggum tragedy. Did your grandmother make her meringue stand tall? Or did it always weep a little around the edges? Because honey, even the weepy ones were worth every bite. Number 6. Old-fashioned pecan pie. Now before we go any further, I need you to forget everything you think you know about pecan pie. Because what your grandmother made and what's sitting on that grocery store shelf in a plastic container, those are 2 completely different animals. Sugar. Old-fashioned pecan pie didn't start with a bottle of light corn syrup. Not by a long shot. Southern grandmothers were making this pie long before corn syrup companies printed the recipe on their labels and quietly took the credit. They used cane syrup, sorghum, dark molasses, sweeteners pulled straight from the land that tasted deeper, richer, and more complex than anything that comes in a plastic squeeze bottle today. And those pecans? They came from backyard trees, harvested by hand every single fall, cracked on the porch during long evenings while somebody told stories. Then, and this is the part most folks forgot, toasted before they ever went near the filling. Because grandmothers knew. Toasting brought out a butteriness in those pecans that made every bite almost unfair. The filling itself was humble. Eggs, sugar, butter, vanilla, a pinch of salt. Nothing complicated. But combined with those toasted nuts and that dark, rich syrup, Lord. Some grandmothers arranged pecan halves in perfect circles on top. Almost too pretty to cut. Almost. Do you remember which sweetener your family used? Or did that secret disappear before anyone thought to ask? Number 7. Shaker Lemon Pie. There are pies you eat and forget by Tuesday. And then there are pies that stay with you, sharp and bright and alive, decades after the last bite. Shaker Lemon Pie was that kind of pie. It came from a community of people who believed, deeply, quietly, without apology, that nothing God provided should ever go to waste. Not the flesh. Not the juice. Not even the rind. So they used the whole lemon. Sliced paper thin, rind, pith, and all, then buried under sugar and left to sit overnight. Something almost miraculous happened in that bowl while the kitchen slept. The bitter white pith slowly surrendered. The rind softened. The sugar drew out every drop of juice until what remained wasn't sharp or harsh anymore. Next morning, grandmothers would beat in eggs, pour everything into a flaky crust, sometimes weave a lattice-top, and bake it slow until the whole house smelled like a lemon grove in July. The flavor was bold, unapologetic. Nothing like the smooth, tame lemon meringues that eventually replaced it on American tables. This pie didn't whisper. It announced itself. And here's what I want to know. Have you ever tasted a lemon pie that used the whole fruit? Because once you do, everything else starts feeling like a compromise. Number 8. Strawberry Cream Pie. Close your eyes for just a second. It's June. The windows are open. Somewhere outside a lawn-mower is humming. And coming from the kitchen, cutting right through the summer heat, is something sweet and cool and impossibly fresh. That was Strawberry Cream Pie Day. And in houses where grandmothers made this, it was practically a holiday. This pie had a window. A brief, beautiful window. Because fresh strawberries don't wait for anybody. They come in fast, they peak fast, and grandmothers knew, you don't waste a single day of strawberry season. She'd cook the custard first. Low heat. Slow stirring. Milk, sugar, egg yolks, cornstarch, work together patiently until thick and vanilla sweet and silky enough to pour like satin into a pre-baked shell. Then came the berries. Whole and sliced, their juice bleeding pink into that pale custard, swirling together into something that looked almost too pretty for a Tuesday afternoon. Some grandmothers folded them straight in. Others glazed whole berries separately until they shone like rubies and arranged them on top with the kind of quiet pride that didn't need any words. Either way, it had to be eaten that day. No waiting. No saving for tomorrow. The berries wouldn't allow it. And maybe that's exactly what made it so special. Something that beautiful, that fleeting, has a way of burning itself straight into your memory forever. Did strawberry season mean pie in your house? Or something else entirely? Number 9. Butterscotch Pie. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You're sitting at your grandmother's kitchen table. The afternoon light is coming in sideways through the curtains. And she sets down something golden, deeply, impossibly golden, that smells like butter and brown sugar and every good thing that ever happened in a warm kitchen. That was butterscotch pie. And it was liquid gold in a crust. This pie was born from necessity. Back when white sugar was scarce and expensive, grandmothers turned to brown sugar. And what they discovered was something far richer, far more interesting than anything refined white sugar could ever produce. They'd melt butter in a heavy pan and add the brown sugar slow, letting it caramelize until it deepened in color and filled the kitchen with a smell that made children materialize from nowhere. Then came the milk, the egg yolks, the cornstarch, whisked in careful and steady over low heat until the whole thing transformed into a custard so silky it coated the wooden spoon like velvet. A splash of vanilla. A pinch of salt. Just enough to make the sweetness sing rather than shout. Poured into a pre-baked shell and crowned with either billowy meringue or fresh whipped cream, this pie disappeared faster than anything else on the Sunday dinner table. Store-bought butterscotch candies exist today. Butterscotch pudding cups exist today. But neither one, not a single one, comes within a country mile of what your grandmother pulled out of that oven. What do you remember most about her dessert table on a Sunday afternoon? Number 10. Old-fashioned Lattice-Top apple pie. We've saved something special for last. Because this one isn't just a pie. It's a memory so deeply woven into the fabric of American life that just the smell of it, apples and butter and warm pastry, can stop a grown person dead in their tracks and send them tumbling back 40, 50, 60 years in the blink of an eye. But here's what most folks don't realize. The apple pie your grandmother made and the apple pie sitting in that supermarket plastic container today, they are not the same recipe. They are not even close to the same experience. Old-fashioned lattice-top apple pie started with the right apples. Jonathan, Winesap, Northern Spy. Varieties that balanced tart and sweet naturally, that held their shape in the oven instead of collapsing into sugary mush. Grandmothers knew their apples by name the way they knew their neighbors. The seasoning was restrained. Just enough sugar to sweeten. A whisper of cinnamon. A little flour to catch the juice. Dots of cold butter tucked underneath the lattice like hidden treasure. And that lattice, Lord, that lattice. Rolled thin. Cut even. Woven over and under with steady, practiced hands that knew exactly what they were doing without ever consulting a single recipe card. Brushed with cream. Dusted with sugar. Baked until it shattered gold and gorgeous at the first touch of a fork. This wasn't convenience. This was craft. And somewhere between the supermarket and the microwave, we let it slip away without even saying goodbye. Does your family still make apple pie the old-fashioned way? Or did that lattice disappear from your kitchen too? 10 pies. 10 kitchens. 10 women who never once consulted a cooking show or a fancy culinary school. They just knew. They knew how long to stir. They knew when the custard was ready by the way it moved. They knew which apples held up and which ones fell apart. They knew, instinctively, quietly, completely, things that took lifetimes to learn and only moments to lose. These weren't just recipes. They were love letters written in butter and flour and patience, passed hand to hand through generations until one day, somewhere between convenience and forgetting, the chain broke. But maybe, just maybe, today we remember together. Don't let these kitchens go quiet for good.